The heavy rain poured down relentlessly, turning city streets into a chaotic blur of motion and noise. Beneath towering black gates of a luxury mansion in Metama stood an old woman soaked completely, her cracked feet planted firmly, an old bag balanced steadily on her wet head. Her wrapper clung tightly to her skin, yet she never flinched under the storm. She stood resolute, eyes fixed on the massive gate, with quiet hope burning inside. This was Sandra, who traveled alone from her small village in Suka to see her son. She could no longer bear the silence, the stories, the whispers, the flashing TV screens. Her only child, Jonathan Okoro, youngest billionaire CEO in Nigeria, filled every headline. While she struggled to buy firewood back home, she needed to see him face to face. Suddenly the grand gates opened inward with a smooth mechanical hum. A sleek black Bentley with golden rims glided out slowly into the rain. Sandra's heart leaped with joy. She rushed forward, waving desperately. "Jonathan, my son, my child." She called through the curtain of falling water. Through tinted dark glass, she saw him in crisp blue Agbada, watch glinting brightly. Seated beside him was a young woman in designer sunglasses and striking red mini-dress. Amara, his fiancée, looked away coldly as Jonathan's eyes widened in shock. He slowed the car immediately and rolled down the window halfway. "Mama," he muttered, voice low and filled with confusion. Sandra gave a weak, hopeful smile. "Yes, it's me. I came to see you. Please, my son. It's raining hard. Let me enter the car now." She reached for the handle, but Amara leaned forward with furrowed brows. "Babe, please don't. She's completely wet. Her clothes are dripping everywhere. She ruined the expensive leather seats," Amara added in sharp disgust. Jonathan's lips trembled. "But that's my mother," he protested quietly. Amara's tone sharpened instantly. "You want me to miss my Dubai flight? It's in 30 minutes. Tell the gateman to let her sit outside until you return." Sandra stood frozen, watching their whispered argument in the rain. Her heart sank heavily as she realized what was about to happen next. Then Jonathan did the unthinkable. "I'm sorry, Mama," he said softly. He avoided her eyes completely. "Please wait. The gateman will attend to you. We'll talk properly when I return from the trip," he promised weakly. And just like that, he drove off into the heavy curtain of rain. The Bentley vanished quickly, leaving Sandra alone at the gate. She remained soaked, hands trembling as she clutched her wet bag tighter. She did not wait for the gateman to open the gate for her. She turned round slowly and walked away, each step heavier than before. Her son, whom she trained through hardship, had left her standing in rain. The one she carried bricks for at construction sites to buy his textbooks. The one she worked under scorching sun to pay his school fees. He abandoned her for a woman he had known only 2 years. That same night, Sandra boarded a dusty night bus back to her village. The long ride passed in silence. No one spoke to her at all. She did not cry openly, but tears soaked her pillow quietly at home. Lying on her worn mattress, she stared at the cracked ceiling above. She did not blame Jonathan. She only hoped he would realize truth soon. But while Sandra prayed silently in her humble room, Jonathan lived in denial. To him, he had done nothing seriously wrong that rainy evening. He justified it in his mind repeatedly. "She's my mother. She raised me." Yes, but that was her duty as a parent, right? He reasoned. Every parent sacrifices for their child. He had a company to manage. He had a high-maintenance fiancée to please with luxury trips and gifts. Amara demanded Dubai vacations, Maldives resorts, finest jewelry, villas in Lekki. So Jonathan kept working hard, kept building wealth, while she kept spending. Until one shocking morning, everything suddenly changed forever. A strange notification appeared, $20,000 missing from company account instantly. Then another withdrawal, then more. Before sunset, millions had vanished. Every single naira he labored years to earn was gone completely. He called his tech team, shouting angrily into the phone, "Track it now. Who has access to this account besides me?" Only one person did, Amara. She insisted on helping manage finances. She had his passwords, his full trust, his account details. They checked IP logs carefully. The trail led straight to Nairobi, Kenya. Jonathan's blood turned ice cold. "What? I thought she was in Dubai." She posted pictures daily from luxury hotels and beaches there. But those pictures were all fake. Amara never went to Dubai at all. She boarded a flight to Kenya instead and disappeared with everything. His company, his funds, his peace, his future all vanished instantly. Jonathan slumped to the floor in his empty penthouse, sobbing like a child. Amara had scammed him completely and stolen all his money without trace. He remembered the last time he cried so bitterly as a boy. It was the night he begged his mother not to sell her only wrapper. She sold it to pay his final high school examination fees, and now he had left that same woman standing in heavy rain. He abandoned her like she meant nothing in his busy life. And she said nothing, not one word of complaint or anger. He picked up his car keys, eyes bloodshot, and drove to the village. Nuka, he whispered to himself. I need to see her now. I need to say sorry. I need to kneel and beg forgiveness. I need to make everything right before it's too late. The road felt endless. He noticed every bump, every tree, every mile. As he reached the village square, people gathered in shocked silence. Some cried openly. Others held hands on heads in deep sorrow. He parked quickly and jumped out. What is happening here? An old man turned slowly, face pale with grief. Why are you doing all this? A young boy asked curiously. That year at Youth Empowerment Conference in Lagos he spoke. People expected talk of oil wealth and CEO success stories. Instead, he shared his journey from beginning to painful end, from mother carrying bricks for school fees to leaving her in rain. When he finished, the entire hall fell into deep silence. Then he held up a photo of a beautiful baby girl smiling. This is my daughter. Her name is Sandra, he announced proudly. She's the reason I'll never forget where I truly came from. I hope my story becomes your warning against pride and ingratitude. He paused emotionally. If you still have a mother alive today, go hug her tightly. Don't wait until it rains again. The conference hall emptied slowly, but Jonathan stayed on stage. He clutched baby Sandra's photo tightly against his chest. Outside, clouds darkened once more and rain began falling. Just like the night he left his mother at the gate. The memory replayed endlessly. Soaked wrapper, quiet pleading voice, rejection in his own eyes as he drove away selfishly. He leaned forward, elbows on knees, head bowed low. If I could go back, he whispered to himself alone, I'd sit in the rain with her instead of driving away. But time is cruel. Regret never releases its grip easily. After conference, news outlets picked up his emotional confession. Billionaire's tearful story leaves youth in tears. Headlines read. Videos trended across social media, spreading his message widely. People praised his humility, but applause brought no real peace. He wanted healing, not public admiration or sympathy. So Jonathan returned to his old secondary school quietly. He walked through Rusty Gate and greeted the current principal warmly. Touring empty classrooms, he saw faded blackboards and broken desks. In one room, a student wrote math problems on wall with charcoal. That sight shook him deeply. He remembered doing the same thing. When his mother couldn't afford notebooks, he used that trick. He pulled out a card from wallet and handed it over. Call my office, he told the principal firmly. We're rebuilding the entire school from foundation upward. I want every child here to have books, uniforms, and hope. That week, the Sandra Okoro Foundation launched officially. Its mission, provide education, food, medical support to widows, and children of single mothers across Nigeria with dedication. It honored Sandra and kept Jonathan from drowning in guilt. Still, at night, memories returned like waves he couldn't stop. He lay beside baby Sandra watching her sleep peacefully, her tiny fingers curled into soft, innocent fists. He wondered how his mother did everything alone so strongly, how she protected and provided without ever breaking down. The answer came unexpectedly one afternoon at his door. A knock sounded. He opened to see Mr. George Okoro standing. His father, older now, hair grey, shoulders slouched with age. Jonathan froze completely. Dad, he said quietly in shock. George nodded, eyes red. I came as soon as I saw news. I didn't know she died. I didn't know if you lived. Jonathan stepped back. Where have you been 30 years? George sighed deeply. That's a long story I don't deserve, but I'll try to explain everything honestly now. They sat in silence. George told of his banker days in Lagos. Beaten unconscious, he lost memory completely for months. By recovery time, he wandered lost in Kogi State Village. An old woman cared for him without knowing his identity. He only remembered his full name 3 years ago. A pastor prayed over him, and memory returned slowly. When I saw your name on news last week, he continued, I knew immediately you were my long-lost son. Jonathan sat stunned, tears slipping silently down his face. All these years, Mama never stopped waiting for you. George bowed head. And I failed both of you terribly. Jonathan stood quietly and left room without another word. He walked to backyard, stood under falling rain again. and cried for everything lost and found too late. Next morning he took his father to Sandra's grave quietly. They stood side by side, two broken men in silence. George knelt and placed fresh bouquet on tombstone gently. "I'm sorry, Sandra," he whispered with trembling voice. "I should have come home. I should have found you sooner." Jonathan didn't speak. He watched flowers tremble in breeze. Late afternoon he toured Sandra Foundation Hospital site, pointing to mural being painted on large wall. Sandra carrying boy, bag of cement on head, warm smile on her strong face. She was a giant, Jonathan said softly to his father. George nodded, eyes moist. "And you are her living legacy." As they walked out, students passed holding free lunch packs. One girl stopped and waved happily at Jonathan. "Thank you, sir," she shouted with bright smile. In that moment, Jonathan smiled genuinely for first time. Though he lost his mother, he could carry her forward. It was etched carefully on school plaques honoring her quiet sacrifices, stitched neatly into uniforms of children receiving foundation scholarships, spoken daily with gratitude in countless homes throughout Nigeria. But for Jonathan, these honors still felt insufficient deep inside. Every night in bed, he vividly saw her soaked in heavy rain, carrying her plastic bag on head, smiling bravely through hidden pain. One peaceful night watching baby Sandra sleep soundly in crib, he whispered a solemn promise to himself and her memory. "I will never let your precious name fade away, Mama. Never. As long as I live and breathe," he vowed. The next day he organized a major press conference quickly, standing before dozens of journalists and flashing TV cameras, dressed simply in navy blue kaftan instead of designer suits. Jonathan stepped forward confidently with calm, weighted voice. "I once believed wealth meant constant bank alerts and exotic cars, but I was completely wrong about true riches," he admitted. He paused emotionally. "I left my mother standing in pouring rain. I chose shallow image over deep love and real loyalty. I paid dearly for it, losing everything that truly mattered, until painful lessons brought me back to essential truth. Now I dedicate every remaining breath to prevent abandonment. No mother should ever suffer like mine did, alone." Silence filled the room before cameras clicked rapidly. Reporters whispered excitedly as hashtags began trending online. But Jonathan no longer chased clout or public admiration. That evening he met Widows and Orphans Welfare Board President. He pledged full funding for elderly women's shelters regionally. He visited first construction site personally in Oyo State, kneeling humbly before dozens of gathered widows there, serving them hot rice and stew with his own hands. "You're not forgotten anymore," he told one blind woman. "You're truly seen and deeply loved," he assured gently. She reached out to touch his face with trembling fingers. Everywhere he traveled, people cried from his genuine heart, not because he was once rich, but because he felt real. As public redemption grew, media repeatedly asked one question: what exactly happened to Amara after her arrest? Months passed since capture, yet people craved full justice. Rumors spread wildly, escape attempts or alleged bribes. But Jonathan remained silent, seeking no personal revenge. He only desired inner peace and forward movement. Then one ordinary day, his lawyer called with updates. "Amara has been sentenced to 25 years imprisonment." Jonathan closed eyes, feeling not triumph but quiet sadness. Even though she shattered him, hatred never took root. He simply wished she had known a mother like Sandra. That same week at youth mentorship event in Ibadan, a nervous young man stood during question and answer session. "Sir, how did you truly know you had changed? How did you know you weren't that man anymore?" Jonathan smiled gently. "Because now when I see someone struggling, in heavy rain, I no longer drive past coldly. I stop the car and offer help immediately." The entire hall erupted in warm, prolonged applause. That profound question lingered deeply within him afterward. How do you truly know you've genuinely changed? Later that night, riding back to hotel in car, skies suddenly opened with another heavy downpour. Driver Mr. Felix slowed carefully, but Jonathan spotted something. Up ahead near curb, old woman sat under thin nylon. Without speaking, Jonathan tapped driver urgently. "Stop the car here right now," he commanded firmly. Felix looked confused. "Sir, hotel is still 10 minutes away. Stop anyway." Jonathan insisted with quiet determination. The car halted smoothly. Jonathan stepped out into rain. He walked directly to the shivering elderly woman. She looked up frightened initially at approaching stranger, but he knelt beside her gently in the pouring water. "Mama," he said softly with familiar warmth. "Let me help you right now," he offered sincerely. She stared, stunned. "Young man, do you know me?" "No," he replied, helping her stand carefully.